A bunch of friends were gathered at a cozy cafe, catching up on life and sharing stories. One of them, a spirited 65-year-old woman, excitedly announced that she had just given birth, thanks to the wonders of modern fertility treatments. Her friends, completely astonished and delighted, showered her with congratulations and eagerly asked if they could see the newborn. "Sure," she replied. "But let's have a bit of a chat and some coffee first." They all agreed and ordered some coffee, spending the next 30 minutes discussing the woman's remarkable experience of becoming a mother at her age and the various challenges she encountered during her pregnancy. After a while, the curiosity among the friends grew stronger, and one of them asked, "Can we take a look at the baby now?" The woman gave a warm smile and said, "Not just yet." They continued their conversation, intermittently sipping coffee, but the question about seeing the baby popped up every few minutes. Each time, the woman would respond with a patient smile. "Not yet." Time ticked by, and the group's patience started wearing thin. They were all so eager to see this special baby. Eventually, one friend, unable to hold back her curiosity any longer, asked, "When can we finally see the baby? We've been waiting for quite some time now." The woman looked at her friends with a serious expression and said, "When he cries." This response left the friends baffled, and they questioned why they had to wait for the baby to cry before they could see him. It was then that the woman confessed, "Because I forgot where I put him." A man decided to come home early from work one day, and as he entered his house, he heard some odd noises coming from his bedroom. Curious and concerned, he quickly made his way upstairs, only to find his wife lying naked on the bed, looking sweaty and breathing heavily. Concerned, he asked her, "What's going on?" Between gasps, she replied, "I think I'm having a heart attack." Panicking, the husband dashed downstairs to grab the phone to call for emergency help. But just as he was about to dial, his young 4-year-old son ran up to him, looking scared, and exclaimed, "Daddy, Daddy, Uncle Ted's hiding in your closet, and he doesn't have any clothes on." Hearing this, the husband slammed the phone down and hurried back upstairs, bypassing his wife, who was still in distress. He stormed over to the wardrobe, yanked the door open, and there he found his brother, indeed completely naked, huddled up on the closet floor. Furious, the husband shouted at him, "You rotten jerk. My wife is here having a heart attack, and you're running around naked, scaring the kids." A little old lady, celebrating her 71st birthday, checked into a motel. Feeling a bit lonely and adventurous, she thought, "Why not do something wild? I'll call one of those men from those ads in the phone books for escorts and exotic massages." She eagerly flipped through the phone book, and her eyes landed on a full-page advertisement for a gentleman named Tender Tony. The ad showed a photo of a very handsome man, demonstrating his physical prowess. Tony was flexing, showcasing muscles that seemed to be perfectly sculpted, complemented by thick, wavy hair, long and strong legs, a radiant smile, and impressively defined six-pack abs. The old lady mused to herself that he looked so firm, she could probably bounce a coin off his backside. She chuckled and thought, "Why not? No one will ever find out." With a mix of excitement and nerves, she dialed the number. "Good evening, ma'am. How may I assist you?" came a voice that was smooth and tantalizing. The old lady felt her heart flutter a bit at the sound. Not wanting to lose her nerve, she dove straight into her request. "Hello there. I've heard you give an incredible massage. I'd like you to come over to my motel room for a massage. Actually, let me be honest with you. I'm here all by myself, and what I really want is a passionate night. I want it fiery and immediate. Bring everything you have. Rubber, leather, whips, your entire arsenal of exotic tools. We'll make it an intense, unforgettable night. I want to be tied up, smothered in chocolate syrup and whipped cream, everything you can imagine. I'm all in. "How does that sound?" she boldly asked. The voice on the other end replied, "That sounds absolutely fantastic, madam, but you need to press 9 to dial an outside line." John decided to visit his 70-year-old grandpa, who was a bit of a survival enthusiast and lived completely off the grid, away from modern conveniences. On the first morning of his stay, John's grandpa got up early and prepared a hearty breakfast of bacon and eggs. As they sat down to eat, John noticed a strange, filmy substance on his plate. Feeling a bit hesitant, he asked his grandpa, "Are these plates really clean?" His grandpa looked at him and responded, "They're as clean as cold water can get them. Now don't worry and just enjoy your breakfast." For lunch, Grandpa decided to cook some hamburgers. When John took his plate, he couldn't help but notice that it seemed to have remnants of dried egg from breakfast. Again, he couldn't help but question, "Are you absolutely sure these plates are clean?" Grandpa, a bit irked by the repeated questioning, firmly said without even glancing up, "I already told you, those dishes are as clean as cold water can get them. Now eat up." Later that day, as John was getting ready to leave, he found himself cornered by his grandpa's dog, which was growling and blocking his path. Concerned, John called out, "Grandpa, your dog won't let me through." Hearing this, Grandpa shouted at the dog, "Cold water, go lie down." At the wedding rehearsal, the groom approached the pastor with a sneaky proposition. "Listen, I'm willing to pay you $100 if you could slightly alter the wedding vows for me," he said. He explained, "When you get to the part where I'm supposed to say I'll love, honor, and obey, and stay faithful to her forever, I'd really appreciate it if you could just skip those lines." He discreetly handed the pastor a $100 bill and walked away, feeling quite pleased with himself. However, on the actual wedding day, as the moment for the groom's vows arrived, the pastor looked straight into the groom's eyes and said, "Will you commit to laying yourself down in submission before her, follow her every command and desire, serve her breakfast in bed every morning for as long as you live, and promise before God and your beautiful wife that you will never so much as glance at another woman for the entirety of your marriage?" The groom was taken aback. He gulped nervously, glanced around at the gathered guests, and managed to squeak out a faint, "Yes." He then leaned towards the pastor, visibly upset, and whispered, "I thought we had an agreement." The pastor handed the groom back his $100 bill and quietly said, "She made me a better offer."